In case Vermin Supreme wasn't enough for you, we now have stand-up comedian Jeremy McLellan.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, just please yell out your city right now. Just, yeah, heck yeah. That's fine. All right. My name is Jeremy McLellan. I'm a stand-up comedian from Charleston, South Carolina. And before I begin, I have to get something off my chest. Today, on the way here from Charleston, South Carolina, I was stopped, frisked, and interrogated by the TSA because my business cards have a picture of a grenade on them, which I think makes perfect sense. You know how terrorists usually have business cards for networking to hand out at the International Students for Terrorism Conference? And they always make sure to put an explosive on them just to make them pop. It's really, networking is so important to terrorism, okay? Got to get your brand out there. It's really important. Really important. A little something about me. I'm a bit of a late bloomer in life. I didn't actually start getting good with women until I turned 30, which is coming up. About a year. I'm very excited, you know. One of my problems was I would always, I always live in my head. And like the Jeremy in my head knows what to do and say around women. And then the real Jeremy shows up at speed dating and talks about drone strikes. Yeah, I can filibuster for 5 minutes at a time. No problem. It's like the Rand Paul of dating. It's awesome. Too soon. He passed, yeah. That's so, somebody please tell Rand that he said that. No, another problem I always had was correcting women if I thought they were wrong about something. Never supposed to do that. One time I was on a date with this girl and she was complaining because there was a pedophile who just moved in next door to her who went to prison for having sex with a 15-year-old girl. And I said, that is horrible. However, technically, he's not a pedophile. Technically, if she was 15, that would make him an ephebophile, right? Because like pedophiles are attracted to kids before they hit puberty. Ephebophiles are attracted to kids after they hit puberty. However, this is when she, me, and all of you realized nothing makes you sound more like a pedophile than making the distinction between pedophilia and ephebophilia. I feel like even just the fact that I knew that that was a word was like a red flag. There's something wrong with me, though. She married me. That's true. So it's fine. Worked out. She was 15. It was cool. Now, we did get married 4 months ago. We had a very beautiful, very southern, just traditional southern wedding. You guys ever been to one of those? Anybody ever been to one of those? They're great. If you haven't been, it's this thing where you take your entire life savings, okay? You put it all in a raft, and then you just set it on fire in the Atlantic Ocean. It's just a beautiful, traditional, southern Viking wedding. It's like, I owe my money. You know, whenever I travel or whenever I meet somebody who's not from South Carolina, they always make assumptions about me. South Carolina has a little bit of a bad rap, right? They always assume I'm racist, or they assume that I must be very, very conservative. All right, but South Carolina actually has a very rich, progressive history. I don't know if you guys know this, but South Carolina actually started the war that ended slavery. You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to see Pussy Riot later. You guys excited about that? Pretty excited. They're a lot braver than I am, you know, because if you protest the government in Russia, Putin can poison you, right, and just totally get away with it. Like, can you imagine living in a country where the government just poisons its own people? Besides Flint, okay, besides Flint, Michigan, that's great. I love Washington, D.C. Last time I was here, I was walking down the street, and this guy came up to me and said, "Hey, man, you got any money?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Well, fuck you." Then he just walked away. But you know what? I gave him a pass, right? I gave him a pass because I figure he's probably just a poor guy who hates rich people, right? Totally understandable, but later I was thinking about it. What if he wasn't? What if he was a rich guy who hates poor people? What if he's a congressman? What if he just walks around the streets of D.C.? Hey, man, you got any money? No? Well, then fuck you. Yeah, fuck the poor. It's a copy of Atlas Shrugged. Get a job, asshole. There's another business in town in Washington, D.C. that I love so much. You may have seen signs for it on the side of the road. It's called 911 Driving School. Learn to drive from real police officers. I don't know if I'd want my kids learning how to drive from real police officers. Like, what would that be like? All right, kids, welcome to 911 Driving School. Lesson number 1, always buckle your seatbelt. Or don't. Fuck it, we're cops. We can do whatever the hell we want. Y'all want to go 80 through a red light? Just turn the siren on for like 5 seconds. And hell, texting while driving, I got 3 open laptops in the front seat. Who's going to give us a ticket? Other cops? I'd like to start a rival business. 420 Driving School. Learn to drive from real drug dealers. Because you know they'd be like, all right, kids, welcome to 420 Driving School. Lesson number 1, obey all traffic laws. I'm talking full and complete stops, at or below the speed limit. There's a kilo in the trunk. Do not get stopped. No matter what happens, do not trust anybody who works over at 911 Driving School. Anybody else think it's weird that cops and firefighters have the same phone number? They have very different reputations. Like, nobody hates firefighters. Nobody's ever yelled fascist at a firefighter. Nobody's ever thrown a Molotov cocktail at a fire truck. Fascist. Right? I think it's because firefighters wait around for someone to call them for help, you know? They hang out in the fire station, lift weights, play with a Dalmatian. I don't really know what firefighters do all day, okay? Right? But cops don't wait. They go out looking for somebody to help. Can I help you? No, I'm good. Why are you resisting? What? Pa-pow. That's it. That's it. If firefighters acted like cops, they'd just be driving around spraying people with their fire hoses. You'd be like, why'd you spray him with a fire hose? I thought he was on fire. He wasn't on fire. He just had red hair. That's racial profiling. Nah, in their defense, not all bad people are cops, okay? It's very important. A lot are politicians, right? A lot of them are politicians. They're all running for office. It's an election year, so is anyone here the next Hitler? Anybody? Raise your hand if you are. Anyone here the next Hitler? There's some politicians here, I think. Okay, just getting a feel for that. Whenever there's an election, I always hear that phrase a lot, you know? Like, a lot of people right now are saying that Donald Trump might be the next Hitler, right? A lot of people are saying that. And by people, I mean his supporters. They're like, oh, my God. This guy might be the next Hitler. Like, oh, my God. Like, I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to jinx it. But, like, this guy, he might be the next Hitler. I feel like if I say it out loud, it won't happen, so I won't even want to say it. But, like, he might be the next Hitler. Might be the next Hitler. I think it's time we had a woman president. I do, yeah, I think it's time. Because think about it. Every other time we've ever elected a president, right, they've been a man. And after they take office, they've all ended up being liars and war criminals, right? So how about this year, put a woman in the White House who's just already a liar and a war criminal? Right? Let's do it. You know it would take Bernie Sanders 6 months to figure out how to invade a country, okay? She doesn't have that lag. Let's put it in there. Oh, man, that's great. My wife is a feminist. Yeah, she's a feminist. That's cool. But the other day we got into an argument because she was saying that women still make 77 cents for every dollar that a man makes, right? But, like, I studied economics in school, so, like, I explained to her that's just because men naturally gravitate towards higher-paying professions, like doctor or engineer or CEO, Whereas women, this is true, just naturally gravitate towards lower paying professions, like female doctor, and female engineer, and female CEO. Like, it's not our fault. It's not our fault you don't apply for the regular jobs. Just turn the application over. It's all right there in the fine print. I think men should make more than women. I do. You know why? Because we provide for women, right? We end up sharing all that extra income with our wives and our daughters to take care of them, which can get really expensive because I don't know if you guys know this, but they only make like 77 cents for every dollar that a man makes. So, like, if anything, men should be getting a raise just to make up for all that sexism they experience in the workplace. Math checks out, guys. Math checks out. That's true in my own marriage, okay? My wife is a female architect, okay? She makes lady buildings, understandable. And I'm a stand-up comedian, and yet she still makes only about 77 cents for every, like, 23 cents that I make. Which is why I married her, guys. So we could become one man. Now we're the patriarchy. It's awesome. Only one problem, though. A few weeks before the wedding, she told me she was not going to take my last name. Yeah, because she's a feminist. We all know a real feminist keeps the name she got from her dad. Right. Like, literally, her patriarch. She was like, well, we could do a hyphen. I was like, I want to do a hyphen. That's just your dad's last name minus my last name. I don't even want to know what that equals. But you guys, we figured out the perfect solution. She did take my last name. Yeah. And I took her first name. Now we're both Stephanie McLellan. Hey guys, how you doing? My name's Stephanie McLellan. This is my wife, Stephanie McLellan. In case you can't tell, this is what equality looks like. Now, we both make 77 cents for every dollar that a man makes. But until then, my maiden name is Jeremy McLellan. Thank you guys so much. See you guys later.